مشاهدينا الكرام، أهلا ومرحبا بكم من جديد في حلقة جديدة وحلقة خاصة من برنامجكم الوطني رواد الأعمال. وكما عودناكم في كل حلقة أن نستضيف رجلا مميز، ومن زاوية رجال الأعمال الأكثر تميزا والأكثر نجاحا رحبوا معي بالسبيشال بزنس مان مستر كريم، الجنرال مانجر لشركة ووركتون of الفردان Properties. بداية good afternoon boss.
Thank you very much. Thanks
How
for
are you,
having
Mr.
me.
Karim?
Thank you very well.
Mr. Karim, in the first, nice to meet you. I would like to introduce you to our audience. When you came to Qatar, how you manage the business here in Workinton of الفردان Properties. تفضل.
Thank you once again for having us.
Our pleasure.
I came personally to Qatar to start Workinton back in 2018, September, October. We officially launched the brand back in 2019 in our first branch in Al Fardan Center, which is right next to Souk Waqf. Workinton, as you mentioned earlier, is actually a Turkish brand franchised here by Al Fardan Properties. So we are all Al Fardan Property employees, and we manage as Al Fardan Properties through the resources and network. But the brand, the core brand, is originally created in Turkey, and I came here to represent that brand, to basically be that integrator between the two brands. And we ended up growing since we have come. For me, since you asked the very beginning how it was when I first came, I'll start from there. It was a big challenge. It was, if not the biggest challenge in my life, because for me, I did not know anyone in Qatar. I didn't know the working culture too much before. I am from Turkey, but before this journey, I was actually in New York. I lived there for 6 years. And so it was a little bit of a challenge. Normally, if, for example, I was in New York or I was in Istanbul, it would be as simple as giving a call to a couple of people, try to ramp up the business at day one. But here it was a bit more challenging. A good advantage on the side was that we are a part of Al Fardan under their umbrella. So that definitely we had to leverage that in our advantage. That's how it started. It started not very fast, but the more we got into the market, the more we saw our actual market needs. And we very immediately realized that our product, with some fine-tuning perhaps, could be a disruptive product in the market. And so far we are happy to see that we are one of the leading brands in our sector. And yeah.
MashaAllah, thanks for your answer, Mr. Karim. Now, can you tell us more about Workinton of Al Fardan Properties, about the special services what you provide to Qatar market from A to Z? Can you tell us more about the details?
Definitely. I think to understand it in a very clear way, we can separate our services or our benefits, let's call, into two. We always classify it as functional benefits and emotional benefits. I'll start with functional benefits because they're quite straightforward. We are a service office provider. Ultimately, that's our core business. We do it with a twist, though. We have a very strong purpose and vision, a strong cause behind it. So if you ask us why we do this business, that's actually what I would be interested to tell. The idea is to bring people together and to increase their efficiency at work. And this could be from any type of business. Now, again, before going into the emotional part, I'll tell you the functional part. We provide offices, we provide services, we provide open area spaces, meeting rooms, game rooms, we have multimedia studios. So we try to serve what, let's say, a regular marketing company would require in an office space, or a regular financial service company, or a consultant, or a computer development company would require. We try to bring all of these facility and amenities together in one premise. And the idea is to be able to serve to all these segments while keeping a like-minded, cohesive environment.
Yes.
What's the benefit of this ultimately? Now this is a bit on the emotional side, is opportunity to collaborate. So we'll come to the emotional benefits a little bit, but functionally, let me actually take you to how this business model was at the first place. One of our competitors, Regis, who we respect a lot, is the founder of Business Center concept all the way back in late 1980s. That was the first disruption to the conventional commercial real estate, where it was a fresh idea. Instead of basically designing and building up large spaces, why don't you try to book just small rooms, flexible, short-term or long-term, up to you, for smaller teams or for remote teams. This was back in the days, was an interesting idea because it wasn't available before. And over time, I believe by late 90s, early 2000s, it has become more, especially with the tech scene rising, new startups being developed, it was a very useful business model. Then 2010 came, and a new business model is actually similar. However, it's a slightly different concept of co-working spaces has come into place through one of the pioneers, WeWork. And here the idea was they serve exactly the same type of services and facilities. They both have meeting rooms, they both have serviced offices. Their business model runs more or less the same. They both have common areas, but they have different purpose. Co-working spaces are more community oriented, are more community centric, let's say. So everything happens. Usually I formulate it in three ways: design, community, people, and content. So you bring the people, the community in the center, and you design accordingly and you give content accordingly. We'll talk probably a bit more on what type of contents we do, but it usually resonates with your vision, with your purpose. And when you have a sharp vision and purpose, you know exactly why you're doing that business. That actually became the disruptor itself towards business centers. So what I mean, now I will connect the two worlds. Functionally, we are a business center. Emotionally, we are a co-working space.
Bravo.
And the idea is, I'll give you just an example. We do have measurements and KPIs on how our community is doing. Last year in 2022, the total amount of internal member-to-member community transactions summed up to 2.5 million riyals, and that usually is a number we proudly say. At this scale, I think it's a great start, and we obviously try to increase that number. The idea is, if we can create a closed circuit economy within our community, you may be just like let's say a graphic designer, and there is an interior designer or someone needs to do a rendering, for example, and you're an interior designer. There is a freelancer and a SME company. There's a very organic, like without even going too much into details, there's a very obvious ways to collaborate there.
Yes.
And we just try to encourage that through events, through our vision, our manual directions. That is one of the very important selling points of Workinton.
Yes.
But again, going back to the space factor, it's usual space, modern, colorful, spacious. You want to feel like home. That's
It's special.
Yeah, we try to have a little bit, let's say, fresh and new look. We try to use colors, we try to use raw materials usually, because all
And this is actually what I want to ask you, Mr. Karim, regarding the specialty here, because there is a lot of companies, they have the same services. They are providing business center, they are providing like a space or whatever connected with real estate. So how is Workinton as a company here, one of the biggest or the famous company here in Qatar? How you make that? How you manage?
Exactly the formula I actually told you about. Our design is unique, our community is very unique, and our content is unique. It's different than any other player here in Qatar, and we do have a lot of validation on that, and this is what we strive for. Ultimately, when I first came, it was organically set by me, this vision, but as the team grew, it was a very collective vision that we have put into this business. We have 4 pillars in our brand, that is learn, create, grow, and glow. Any type of activity we do must fall under one of these. I think these 4 pillars could easily be applied to anything in life. If we are all hungry to learn, create, grow, and glow, I think we'll be having a collective happiness.
Yes.
We believe happiness at work is not a luxury, it's a business strategy. It increases efficiency, productivity, These are the types of approaches we have, and I think these are the main things that makes us unique. Obviously, these are not as tangible. If you come into a space and feel its unique colors and its unique design and its functional design, yes, it's more tangible. You see that, okay, this is different. And of course, we are aware that it starts from there. Usually in our sector, they say, make a wow impact, wow factor, yeah? So our space is that wow factor. When someone walks in, and we actually try to measure this by listening to people's reactions. If they say wow, we cross one tick, like our space is doing well. And maybe 70 or 80% of the time we do hear that when someone walks in, wow, we didn't know such a nice design concept is available. So that is one factor. But I believe our strongest part is what I would think is this vision, is this purpose, which could be a bit more intangible, but as you spend time with the team and with our premises, you start to feel that as an energy. And I'm not saying this because I feel it. These are all like after so many observations, validations, we do pay a lot of attention to feedback. Without it, we cannot go. So yeah, I would count these as like content. I think no one in the market at the moment is as strong as us in terms of the physical and the digital contents we provide. And we do it all for the community.
Yes, mashallah. We hope for you to grow more and more.
Inshallah.
Karim, you deserve that with your company as well, and to be in a high level, because really nothing is. It's easy to reach the top, but it's hard to continue in the top. So you reach and
the only way is to grow.
Of course, of course. Inshallah, always you will be growing more and more. Now, Mr. Karim, you know that we are from Qatar country as the best country in the world, had the safety and security, had the happiness as well, and the investment. We have to thank His Highness Sheikh Hamad bin Khalifa Al Thani, the father, as well His Highness Sheikh Tamim bin Hamad Al Thani from Workinton of Al Fardan Properties, and from Mr. Karim as a GM of the company. Tfaddal.
Thank you very much. Not only for safety and security, I believe also, since we were just talking about vision, how important it is.
Amazing. Really.
Also, I want to add, if you don't mind, Her Highness Sheikh Moza as well to that.
Of course.
Because all of these people have created this vision thus far, and it's an ever-growing vision. Not only, of course, as Karam, I'm just a regular person, but when a corporate, a brand is considered, for example, Al Fardan has been serving to that vision, following that vision since very long time, and we are always embraced by this vision wherever we go to, whoever we talk to. So ultimately, all this, if we have a success or failure, it can happen in business life, but all definitely thanks to the vision makers of this country.
Of course, thank you for your message as well. The thanks, it's connected from our channel, ABC Khalijiya TV. We will thank you for your time that you're giving to us, Mr. Karim. Inshallah, always will see you on the top and the high level. Before we end our time, just want to take from your side to our audience where we are now in Qatar. How can we reach and contact Workinton of Al Fardan Properties?
Thank you once again for having. We are at the moment in our Lusail branch. It is our smallest branch, just so you know. We have 4 branches here in Qatar. I'll very quickly run them through. In Al Fardan Center, next to Souk Waqf. We have in M7 in Musharraf Properties, partnered as well with Qatar Museums. We have another branch in West Bay, Burj Al Gassar, and another branch here in Lusail. Aside from these co-working businesses, we also do serve to big enterprises. So we actually have multiple other locations that we have designed, built, and are managing for dedicated global giants, from banking, financial services to tech services. So in total, we are pretty much everywhere.
Yes.
But for public and for co-working purposes, they can find us on social media, on websites, and physically West Bay, Lusail, Musharraf, and next to Super.
Thank you for the information.
Appreciate it.
So, my dear viewers, the contact number down of our screen with the website and the emails of Workinton of Al Fardan Properties. Thank you, Mr. Karim, again for your time that you gave
thank
us.
you.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
مشاهدينا الكرام، إلى هنا نختم حلقتنا لهذا الأسبوع. تابعونا Friday and Saturday on ABC خليجية TV and social media. دمتم بخير وفي أمان الله.